Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from LastStandGamers, and welcome, and don't I have quite a surprise for you. So if you ever played the Half-Life games, either 1 or 2, you'll know about the mystical and very mysterious Black Mesa complex. And as this build, I decided to build the place and construct a tram rail system. So this is not 100% complete yet, but we're getting there. So we're just arriving in the monorail at subsection 3 or whatever the area is called. I can't remember exactly, but I replicated the place as well as I could. So we're going to get off our tram and we're going to put our feet nice and firmly on the platform here. So there we are. We've arrived in the laboratory section. We're going to head in on side. So basically, inside here, we've got the security area. Obviously, I've not put any security doors in yet. I've just used these to just demonstrate where they would go. We've got the security booth here, where you just get buzzed through, and you're constantly being reminded that you're late. So we have the reception room. So when you come in here, you see all this buzzing around. You go to the guard on the desk, and he's like, "Oh, you're late, Gordon, again." So I just thought I'd build this place just because of the pure fun of memories that I've had here, and the actual game itself is amazing, and I thought it'd just be some sort of amazing way of actually seeing it in Space Engineers. So here on the left we've got one of the laboratories, and this one is where there's a security guard and another guy sitting at a chair. They're having a bit of a conversation. We've got a smaller office here with some sort of computer platforms, some other things, and I built a few consoles throughout the place out of different small ship blocks just to make the place feel a bit more populated. So we've got the bench there where a very sad scientist sits. So we move through here. That area here is where the G-Man actually talks to one of the scientists, and that's the first sighting you ever see of him in the Half-Life series. So it's actually very interesting indeed. Actually, that was a complete lie, because you do see the G-Man, the G-Man, as you say, walking along the actual train area as well. So if we continue moving on through here, we're going to try to get to our reactor room where we're going to do the experiment. But first of all, we're going to need our suit on. To get our suit on, we're going to have to head down to the changing rooms. And it is modelled very well, I have to say, for something that I've done. Usually the things I model tend to be a bit off on perspective, but this one seemed to actually come out pretty well, and I actually felt it really nostalgic to actually know where I was going. So here's the locker room. We've got the nice changing rooms here. This here is where Gordon Freeman's locker was, so we'll actually see what's in it. Just some random stuff at the moment, but we can fix that. So here's where the scientist needs the loo roll passing to him, and you can either be a good Samaritan and help him out. And over here we have the suit room. We have the hazard charging packs, and we have where the suits stand. These are just placeholders at the moment because I'm thinking about creating a few of my own objects in this, depending on how hard it is. We'll have to see. So I'm going to probably build some simple things to start with, like control panels, and maybe some tube lab experiments that might be fun to build. Maybe not just for this project, but for everyone in general to use on their ships and stuff. But it's just a little hard at the moment because I'm still trying to get my head around it. So we've got another laboratory up on our right doing all sorts of crazy experiments, and we can proceed through here. So we've got a suit on now, and we're ready to do our experiment. So we've got another laboratory there. We'll take a look in there. So we've got some desks, we've got some other things. Too bad we can't populate this with AI, that would be beautiful. But I mean, at the moment, you could always have a shootout sort of thing in here. Too bad that you're going to be struggling to kill anyone. So we're moving down now into the subsector where the experiment begun, the research area is. Got another laboratory, working on some sort of crazy blue, yellow, and Swedish-looking coloured majig over there. And now, if we move inside, we're onto the first elevator down. So we're going to take this down to the next floor. So here we are. There we go. So I modelled this as well as I could. There was a few things that I had to do out of perspective, like there was a few doorways that were on angles, and obviously Space Engineers putting doorways on angles is near impossible. And there's a few things that I really wanted to try to do as well, like different levels of blocks and stuff, because obviously at the moment one block is a person high, as you can see there. So it's a little bit hard to get a certain effect that you want, so you can see over blocks or have it as like a central divide. But it doesn't really matter. So we're here down in the control room. We've got some keypads. Boop, 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 boop. And then the beautiful noise of recharging your health in Half-Life. It was great there. C D D D. I remember I used to hum along to that. It was hilarious. And then the suit one has a different one. But here we go. We're into the main control room overlooking the experiment. So you're greeted here with the two of the scientists you'll probably run into all through the Half-Life series, and we've got the experiment taking place down there at this current moment in time. So boop, 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 boop. Right, okay, so everything seems fine. We'll have to seal this door behind us though, because this area is pretty dangerous. So we've got the walkway up there. We've got some different sorts of... the thing with the furniture, guys, is I tried to lay it out because there's these little things here that have these like spikes going on, but it's obviously impossible in Space Engineers. But it's just to give you the feeling of what's going on. So here we enter the Twisty Lift. Now this lift, when I originally designed it, it had a motor on the top that made it twist around to face you the doorway. I ran into a little bit of an incident where it turned into a giant drill, drilled through the bottom of the complex and escaped. So I quickly fixed that. Another control panel. To the left over there is where a scientist, I remember this, I stopped and watched it happen, and the scientist is like, oh no, this cannot be done. I hate being at this sort of job, and it was pretty hilarious. But if you've not played Half-Life, you're probably going, what the hell is he on about? You need to play it. I mean, it's a game that any sci-fi fan of any sort of game needs to play. It's a challenge. It's kind of a first-person shooter, and it's only single player. But I mean, when was a game back in the day ever multiplayer? So here you go. We've got two scanners that the scientists both open, and then this enters you into the actual chamber where the experiment takes place. So in here, you're told to do a number of like strange, pointless tasks, like press buttons that don't seem to do much, and then eventually you have to scoop a cart with rock and ore into there. And I'm going to work on that. I'm going to try to do something where maybe there's a minigun there and there's a rock there, and you fire it and it does some sort of interesting damage, sort of spark explosion. But obviously it's only in early days at the moment, so we've got the platform up there. So I'm not releasing this on the Steam Workshop just yet because I want to get it perfected, and there's a lot of the complex that I've not yet shown you, and it's became a little bit of a mini project. So basically where you saw the car or the tram come in, there's a complex behind there that I modelled after Opposing Forces, one of the levels on Opposing Forces. So I'll have to show you that another time, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.